You with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Robbie Adamson and Jonathan Martinez, and we're going to be playing the weekly Friday Beat the Coach, and uh, we're going to be playing games and providing comments as we play. And Jonathan, thanks for being with us today.
Yep, I'm happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So, Jonathan's is gonna provide comments and make sure we don't lose on time, and he's gonna watch the chat. So if you have any questions or anything, just let us know. And without further ado, we might as well start playing. We'll start a minute early today. So we'll go with this tiny sparkling frog. What do you think about that?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Tiny, let's go. All right. All right, cool. So we're playing the E4. So, Jonathan, what would you like to play today?
Maybe just E5.
All right, cool. So one of the first lines we learned as a kid. All right,
Yep.
so we're going to defend the pawn. All right, so this is called the Roy Lopez, right?
Yeah.
And Jonathan, how much do you know about this from the black perspective?
Pretty much none.
All right, well, we'll help you out a little bit today. So we're going to go ahead and play A6. And I think we did this on a previous show. Oh, they're going to take this. So why is taking on E5 here? Why is that not such a good move for white? Do you remember?
Yeah, because black has a queen d4, which forks the knight and pawn.
Right, and then it sort of forces a queen trade at some point, right?
Yeah.
All right, so our opponent doesn't take it. So he plays. So this line is okay also, but it's a little premature. Normally you take with a queen in these positions because I think we might be able to take advantage of him with C5. And what's the advantage of that, Jonathan?
I mean, against space.
What else, though?
And against tempo in the opening, which is helpful for development.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what else.
Well, we help him lose his castling privileges.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, objectively, this is probably equal, but what do you think my next move is going to be, since I just played bishop e6?
Probably castling queenside.
Yeah, castle queenside, get our king out of the center, but also do it in an active way so that we can put pressure on this d file. And then you see that this pawn is defended, so there's no problem there. And then what might be a kind of a provocative move I could play next turn? Any ideas? Oops.
Well, now you get a free knight, right?
Right. Okay, so if let's say he had played the move f3, what provocative move could I have played?
Oh, c4.
Yeah, and then where's the knight forced to go?
It has to go to a5.
And then what would we play?
Maybe bishop b4.
Yeah, bishop b4 wins a piece. The knight's trapped because he can't take this pawn because we'll just take back, and we still have this pinned, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take. So we'll advance this a little bit. I took a little too much time there. Okay. So we took that guy, and all right. So we'll just take this guy too. So one of the downsides, of course, is losing a piece in the opening is a big deal. So what would you play here, Jay?
I'd probably just continue developing like knight f6.
Exactly. Good. And what does that threaten actually?
Threatens knight e4. I think that also wins a piece.
Yeah, because the knight's pinned, right? All right. So do we take on e4 or what? Sounds good to me, right?
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. And so this knight's all trapped and stuff. And actually, what embarrassing could happen if white were to play this bishop c1 move?
Oh, Knight c3 checkmate.
Yeah, we got a smothered mate. In fact, Jonathan, we have 2 smothered mates. We also had bishop g4 in that position, too. Isn't that kind of interesting?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah! Okay, so let's take this, let's take this guy with check. All right, and he's going to move over. And then what would you do next?
I'd probably put my other rook on d8.
Yeah, I think rook d8 is good. Again, when in doubt, just be simple. Put your rooks on good squares. Everything is guarded. Every one of these pieces is defended except this knight, but there's no way to attack the knight.
Yeah.
All right, so how would you proceed? How do we put the finishing touches up? Because we are up a lot of material here. So, what would you do? I'm going to play a little sneaky move. I'm going to play this f6 move. So, Jonathan, you know me. I've been your coach for a long time. So, what am I thinking about there?
So you wanted to basically limit the bishop so that he doesn't actually control the a1, h8 diagonal anymore.
And so therefore?
And so now you can play bishop d4 check.
Exactly, good. And we see the king and the rook on the same diagonal. And so that sets us up for a little bit of a trick. So the question is, do we have anything better than to take this? I'm actually going to go here. So what little devilish trap am I setting?
You're just setting rook d1, which would have been mate.
Exactly, good. Rook d1. Now, technically, he should play king a2 here.
Yeah.
And this is going to lead to checkmate. So, yeah, tiny sparkling frog. You hung a piece in the opening there, so that got you in a little bit of trouble. And so we're going to go back to the list here, and let's go for. I could play J-Mart. I wonder who that is.
Yeah. I think he's pretty new to the game.
Pretty new? I'm not sure about that emoji thing you got there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play we're going to go Frozen Earthquake. Okay, Frozen Earthquake. And it doesn't want me. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to play E4. God, my voice is scratchy today. All right, so let's go ahead and play Knight of 3. All right, so what's this called, Jonathan? You remember what this is called?
This is the Philidor?
It is, very good, exactly. And the Philidor is more of a reserved kind of line because normally the bishop wants to come out to this square, but when you put the pawn here, clearly the bishop will never go there unless things opened up or something. So typically, when you face something a little offbeat like the Philidor, what should be your mindset, do you think?
Well, usually lines that you don't see very often are usually ones that are like more passive, so maybe try to control the center quickly.
Yeah, I think something really quick like this is a very good move. Okay, so now we can take this guy. And now you really see the difference. This is kind of like a Scotch, except in the Scotch, usually the bishop has a chance to come out to c5. So here we're just going to kind of develop our pieces. There's nothing wrong with the Philidor at all. It's just not it's pretty passive. But there is something wrong with this move. So can you tell me what's wrong with that?
It makes the d6 pawn backward.
On a half-open file, right? So
yeah.
it makes it very weak. Everyone see that d6 pawn? Normally when the pawn is on c7, it's defending the d6 pawn. But now with this guy being here, now this is definitely a target. So I think we're going to go after that target pretty quickly. So Jonathan, when I play this move, what's the first thing you think of besides the fact that I'm attacking this pawn?
I mean, you're also developing a piece, and you're getting your queen side more open, so maybe you're going to castle there.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Queen d2 and castles queenside. Exactly. When you see a weakness like this, I mean, you can try to put a lot of pressure on it. Now, our opponent is putting his knight on the side of the board. We'll see if that gets him in trouble. We're going to preserve the bishop. And of course, what's the downside of putting the knight over here, Jonathan?
It's very passive. It's not doing very much.
And it can't go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So, what do you think he's trying with his a6 move?
He's going to try to expand on the queen side with b5.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it gets a little bit of space. The problem is he's not developing pieces, and so that square looks even more eye-opening to me. Let's set a little trap here. Let's see if he tries to play b5. Can you see some possible tactics here, Jay?
b5. Maybe there's queen d5 forks the rook and knight.
Right, exactly. See that guy? Remember how we forecasted that a little bit by saying that the knight might get in trouble here with this guy and this guy here? So
yeah.
I actually don't think it wins material. It was probably a little fancy, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that amazing because I mean, obviously, if he takes here, I'll take the queen. I'll take the rook, right? So he probably. What's his only move here? Do you think?
I mean, I think he has to play rook a7.
Yeah, I don't see any choice either. So yeah. So if okay. So what do you think he's trying with that move? That's kind of a little sneaky move on his part. And I think we had this in a previous. Remember we had a game similar to this where.
Yeah.
What was the theme that we learned? What's he trying to do?
Well, he's trying to bait us into taking the rook so our queen gets trapped.
Right. But does our queen actually get trapped after queen a8 and then bishop b7?
I don't think so, because after bishop b7, we have knight d5.
Aha, very good. Good counterattack. Nice. And so see how that knight can go. See that hole there? See these guys right here on this d6, c5? That is, those pawns are on dark squares, so by definition, the white squares are weak, and that means we can plop that knight into d5, no problem. And the thing is that even though he can take our queen, we can take his queen too. And we have a tempo on the bishop. So it really, really does help a lot.
Yeah.
So very good analysis there, Jonathan. Nice. So now he really has to figure out what to do because he actually doesn't have a good move here. He's in big trouble. Of course, if he takes the bishop, we're going to play knight d5 anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so if he takes here on d5 and we play knight to d5, what do you think would be the what follows? Am I able to win material from that position?
Yeah, because aren't you forking the queen and bishop?
Yeah, so where does he have to go?
He has to go to, he has to go to b7 here to defend the knight and the bishop.
But then
you can just take the bishop and then take the knight.
Right, or we could trade queens and then take the bishop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we can take the bishop first if we want to, but I think we're just going to go ahead and take this guy. So yeah, he got in a little bit of a pickle, but the thing is that one of the hard things is that when you make a positional error like that in the opening, that is like it's almost hard to get overcome if you're playing a good player. And Jonathan and I see this right away. We see these weak squares, and we instantly think, white squares are weak. So, all right. So Jonathan, you'll see a little trick I have here.
Yeah, so you could trade queens and win a piece by taking on c8 with your queen.
Aha! And give the full analysis?
So after queen c8, black's going to take the queen on c8, and then you get to play knight e7, forking the king and queen.
Exactly, and that netted us a piece, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So there's been a few little tactics in this game actually, in a nice little counterattack where he tried to trap our queen. So that was pretty good. Oh, it's our turn. Huh. I didn't see him play king g8 so fast. Okay, so now this is just a matter of technique, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It is.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. All right, so yeah, and this is one of the one of the things I used to get on my students for is, or I still get on my students for, is when they take a bunch of time now when they're already down a lot of material, and they should have like taken more time earlier, because this game had a very solid feel to it, and it completely unraveled. So one of the things I recommend to students is that they try to be a little more just taking your time. There's no rush. The opening and the middle game is where you really want to take your time, because you don't get a lot of end games anyway. But you definitely want to be in that position. So now we're just trading down and doing what we have to do. So yeah. So Jonathan, what kind of tricks am I setting up here?
There's a lot of discoveries.
Yeah.
None of them are that good though, because you don't win material with any of them. But
all right, do you smell any potential mates here?
Yeah, because almost all of the squares you can go to are blocked off.
Right. Which one? What would you play in this position? I know what I'd play.
I
think it sets up a forced mate. What?
Maybe F3 to stop
Very good.
king
Why?
e4.
And why did you say that so quickly?
Because it stops king e4, which is like his only escape
Okay.
into the center.
And it threatens.
It threatens g4 and then rook f6 mate.
Exactly. That's checkmate. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and look how much time is now being expended when it could have been used earlier. So that's just I think that's my general takeaway from this game. Here I think we just made anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So good game, Frozen Earthquake. We hope that all the earthquakes are frozen. We don't want an active earthquake. Okay. So let's see if we see any new names here. Neat Powerful Wheel. I don't know who that is, so that sounds like somebody new. I'm going to try one more time. Okay, Neat Powerful Wheel. Alright, so we're going to play e4 again. Never played this before, huh? Alright, so let's play an open Sicilian and see what kind of Sicilian this person plays. So, Jonathan, what's this d4? That's called the open Sicilian, right? And the open Sicilian is defined as when we take with the knight here, right?
Yes.
All right, so what's this called?
This is the dragon.
Right, okay. So here we're going to play this. I saw you played a game last week with Coach Rohan, and and you guys played more of a Maroczy bind type of thing, and I just avoided that. I think we're just going to go... we're going to play it like a Yugoslav attack. Not a Yugoslav, but we're going to play the 9 castles long line. You probably haven't faced this in a long time, have you? I don't remember you facing this at all.
I used to play this as white a lot, and then I stopped.
Well, no, okay. All right, so this is the 9 castles long line. So what is the attack for white here? So basically, we've developed all of our pieces, But now we're going to kind of go for. Now we're going to have to figure out what's the best way to go for an attack. So do you know what the best way?
I think just going G4 right away here.
Yeah, G4 is a good move. And so what kind of a game are we expecting here?
Like, since we're castle on opposite sides, it's going to be a lot of pawn storming. Very sharp
exactly.
game.
And what's the plan for white?
I think it's to break with H4, H5.
And then?
And then bring the bishop to H6.
Right,
and
crash that king, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think Black's plan is going to be?
Black's plan is going to be playing something along the lines of like knight e5, knight c4, try to trade the dark sword bishop.
Right,
and
exactly.
Then possibly sack on c3 with the rook.
Uh-huh. Okay, so when they play this knight e5, knight c4 thing, do you remember what this is a little bit of a nuance, it's kind of an advanced concept, but what's the advantage of keeping the bishop on f1 as opposed to playing the Yugoslav, which is bishop c4 and bishop back to b3? Do you remember that distinction?
It's because you lose a lot of tempos playing bishop c4 and bishop b3 just to take the same knight on c4. When you could have just left it on f1.
Very good, exactly. So in effect, we're up a tempo in the main line by playing it this way. This line has actually been refuted for the most part for white, for black. I've had this a couple of times in tournament games, and there is some theory here, but this is a very, very scary line for black because of this stuff. Now, Jonathan, what could be a potential problem with playing bishop h6 in this position? Do you remember that trick that they have?
Maybe they have like rook d4.
Okay, very good, very good, nice. Okay, and so now what happens is if a5. So now I actually don't think there's anything wrong with bishop 8. Normally a move like bishop h6, we have to be careful of this rook takes d4, like you just said. Queen takes d4, bishop h6, because normally there's a check. But you see how I moved my king here? That wasn't by accident. I knew that was an important move to play. So I could certainly play bishop h6, and so if bishop h6, rook takes d4, queen takes d4. If bishop h6, I do have hg, which opens up the rook. The bishop could move, and then I would take with check. But I still think that's probably good for white, but I'm going to go ahead and play the safer move. I like this move. I really like this move a lot because, Jonathan, first of all, it eliminates the rook takes d4 idea. But what's second idea? Because you actually alluded to it just a second ago as to a plan that black sometimes has.
Yeah, so black sometimes sacrifices the rook for the knight on c3 to open up the b pawn, because usually white has to take with the b pawn. So now you can just take back with the knight, and then there's no problems.
Yeah, it's normally exactly. It's perfectly explained. The pawn normally has to take. The pawn normally has to take here, and it opens up our king a little bit. Generally, by the way, when I see this a4 move, I generally respond with a move like a3. But here, I don't think we need to. I think we're going to go straight for the kill. And Jonathan, one other idea that is way. It's a way advanced concept, but this knight being on e2, sometimes when it goes to g3, sometimes black gets an annoying blockade with a knight on here, and so the knight going to g3 is the one piece that can dislodge this piece from h5. I know it's not really showing this position, but anyway, okay. So we're going to go ahead and play for the attack. And so, Jonathan, how would you how would you continue this attack? What's because these first two moves are pretty obvious.
Yeah. Maybe bringing the queen to h6.
Okay, good. And so now, what are his choices here?
So he could like try to run with king f7.
And then what would happen?
He could. Then I'm pretty sure g5 is just winning, because once the knight moves, then you have queen h7.
Right. So let's say king f7, g5, knight e8, queen takes h7 check, and then let's say he blocks with the knight. What's the crusher there? Do you remember?
Oh, knight f4.
Yes, that's probably good too. I was thinking of rook h6, but yes, I think that's good too. Now actually, Jonathan, I gave this to you as a tactile exercise a long time ago. You may not even remember, but do you remember the win here? The winning attacking idea?
Oh yeah, I remember doing this. I think it was g5, knight h5.
Yep.
Rook h5, pawn takes, g6. I think he has to take, and then queen takes, king h8, rook h1. Maybe?
Very good. Nice analysis. Very good. And if anyone didn't follow that analysis, we probably will get that in this game. Our opponent has to see that knight h5 stops the mate. And by the way, remember I mentioned on knight h5, remember I mentioned the idea that knight g3 could be played? That's not bad, but we want to go for the kill. So we're just going to go ahead and take this. Our opponent didn't quite see that, and which is understandable because it's kind of a deep move. So let's go ahead and take this dude here. We're getting a little on time, but now it's just a matter of technique. We are up a piece and stuff, and so again, now you see how the attack is somewhat over, although I don't really think it's that much over. But don't be scared to take a free pawn like this, and don't be so fixated on trying to go for an automatic checkmate. This pressure on the king side is not going away anytime soon, and so now that this knight's here, we can pressure this. And you see, if knight takes, rook takes, you see rook queen h7 now.
Mm-hmm.
So the position just sort of when you have a good attacking position, the position just sort of plays itself now. Aha! So Jonathan, what's the crusher here?
Knight f6, rook f6, queen h7's mate now.
Exactly. We don't care about that rook. Okay, and he can't. And what? And Jonathan, what happens if the king moves over?
King moved over, it's queen f8, rook h7 mate.
Or change the move order, queen h7, rook h7, and rook takes anyway. But this is leading to checkmate. Okay, so that was a pretty instructive attacking game, everybody. All right, so we're going to go to the next group. Ashton Ironwood, you are on. Ashton. All right. So, they're giving us white again. Wow, the ChessKid's really being nice today with the color allocation. Oh, another Sicilian. Everyone wants to go for the most aggressive line today. You notice that?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play. You want to play another one?
Yeah, sounds good.
We're going to call this Open Sicilian Friday.
It really is.
All right, well, let's just check this out. So, for those of you not watching, this is exactly the same game we just had so far. Oh no! So Ashton, So Jonathan, we talked about this earlier, except it was a different pawn. What's the downside of playing this move?
So, I think there's actually two. One is that you get the backward pawn in the open file, but the other one is that you block your own bishop.
Yeah, very good. Those are two very good points. If you're going to play the Sicilian Dragon, you almost never play e5 for the reason Jonathan just said. It's because this bishop is blocked, and you don't want to block it. And then the bonus in the position, of course, is that now this pawn is almost impossible to defend. To defend it, he either has to move his king, which would be a disaster, or bishop f8, which could even be worse. So, Jonathan, if bishop f8, how would you proceed to try to go after Ashton?
I'd play knight d5.
And that threatens what?
It threatens knight c7. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, it is scary as heck. Yeah. There's all sorts of tricks there. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is one of those things you got to be really careful when you play these openings. Is a move like e5 is almost a death sentence, um, because it's such a weakening move. So now, Jonathan, would you take with the queen or the knight?
I think the knight.
Yeah, I think the queen wins a pawn, but this wins a pawn too, except it's even more aggressive.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say is the follow-up now?
I would castle queenside.
Or let's go for the kill. You know me; I like to go as aggressive as possible.
Um, like bishop c5.
Or bishop c4.
Oh yeah.
Let's go for that. Yeah, and I see what you're doing. You're going for this to avoid any kind of knight move, so there's a potential discovery. So that's a really good idea too. Yeah, unfortunately, I sound like we sound like a broken record, but it really is. These positional errors are so important to avoid. You just cannot do it. You just can't.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, so unfortunately, and again, you notice the same common thread from the last game. See how much time Ashton's taking in this position.
Yeah.
So I
You
think
should have been taking that earlier, right?
right, exactly. So, and I think one of the most important things is chess is such a difficult game. It really is, and you gotta find ways to try to follow the rules as best you can. And there are rules for a reason. They do exist for a reason, and you got to follow them no matter what. So we could take with the knight, and that forces the. He'll probably trade queens. I think we'll take with the bishop, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, these are really good lessons to learn. I know they're painful sometimes. Now we can he might play bishop here. I think we're going to give him we'll give him a little tickle. We'll have him come back. Have him come back to h8. And then what would your next move be after rook h8? There's a lot of good moves, but I mean, what's the follow the rules, be a cow mentality?
Castle queenside.
Exactly. Complete your development. Don't fall in love with trying to win this rook over here. You're not going to win it, and it's better just to follow the rules, get your pieces in the game, and you notice just based on winning a couple of pawns, you see how the king is wide open. Black doesn't have good moves here. He really doesn't. That being said, I think he has one move that's kind of annoying, Jonathan. What would you, if you were trying to be annoying here? Very nice, Ashton. You put a very good move. You see, and Jonathan, why is that such a good move?
Because it basically plugs all of White's open lines. Like it blocks the rook. It stops the bishop from getting active on d2. It's overall an annoying move.
Yeah, it is. No, it's a very good move. So and I feel like we say this every single week on Beat the Coach, but we don't like people that give up. We want you to fight as hard as you can, and a knight d4, that's a fighting move. That's like, okay, I'm not going to let you kill me. So you got to keep going and pushing. Nice. So yeah, so the question is now, what does black do? This bishop is lonesome, but there's not really a lot of places it can go. I guess it can go here. Here doesn't work because we'll just play f3, and that square, of course, is taken. So yeah, so this is a little bit of an annoyance, but we got to keep fighting. So let's play. Let's try to open up some. So Jonathan, if you're going to open up some lines in this position, how would you do it? Where's the natural break?
f4.
Yeah. What we're going to do, I don't like f4 right away, but I do like rook f1 because that threatens to crack open the king, and you notice how the king is completely cut off from escaping, and not that he wants to go there anyway because the rook's in the way. The problem is if he moves his king to e7, we have knight d5 check. So there's a lot of problems here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and Jonathan, just so we can leave Ashton with some pointers if he's watching the show later, is that in this position, generally it's knight f6 is the move and just castle, like the previous player played. So I think that's a little bit better. But just know that the dragon is actually a very dangerous opening for both sides. Both sides have to be very, very careful. Okay, so yeah, so he played king e8. So Jonathan, what do you see any tactical tricks or ideas that might be fruitful?
Maybe something with like knight b5.
Yeah, knight b5 is interesting. Yep, because that maybe gets rid of this guy. Yeah, I actually like that move a lot. That's a good move. I mean, another way, of course, was simply just to go here and win a pawn. But I think this is actually more aggressive in that one of the things you need to know in chess is that you have to take away what your opponent is good at, like from a strategy standpoint, and similarly, you have to take away a good piece that they have. So if this is his best piece, well, then let's get rid of it, you know? And I think it's a good move because if this knight disappears, this d file is going to be wide open, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Okay, so he's not biting. I don't think we really want to bite too, but I think we're going to go here. We're going to give him a little tickle because we're going to come back to d5. I didn't see an automatic kill. But Jonathan, what's a really good way to get rid of this now?
Now we can play c3.
Yeah, we can play c3. Or actually, you know what we could do? Knight f7 too. But let's play c3.
Oh.
I know that's one of your favorite words. It's actually.
Actually? Yeah.
No, actually it hurts. Actually. All right, yeah, so the problem is once this knight moves, we got discovery Arama here. Ooh, a counterattack. I like moves like this. I like the fighting nature of it. I think we're just going to take the nice calm approach because wherever the knight moves, we have knight f7. All right, we'll take this guy. And we'll check here, I guess. And then we're going to go... let's take this guy. Yeah, so unfortunately now it starts to unravel. but you know, and this is just showing again, from a positional standpoint, you gotta be really, really careful with how you play those openings. All right, so we'll take this guy. Our opponent's pretty good at the pre-moving, isn't he?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he knew the dragon very well, but if you go into an opening you don't know, just follow the rules because most of the time you're going to follow the theory because the theory follows the rules.
Right. No, that's a really good point. Always follow the rules, and it's one of the hardest things for students to learn. Because Jonathan, don't you have students that just do not follow the rules?
Yep, all the time.
Yeah, and it's amazing in chess that if you do follow the rules, it can be such an improvement. All right, good game, Ashton. Okay, keep working on that. Just work on that Sicilian a little bit more, okay? All right, we're gonna play Tasty Fig. We have a brand new person. Definitely don't recognize this person. Welcome, Tasty Fig. And let's try that again. All right, Tasty Fig. All right.
White again.
We're getting white again. I think we've been bribing the ChessKid color people because they're giving us all the whites. Okay, so we're gonna have a Petrov. Uh-oh. You know, did you know that Petrov was with a V? I thought it was with two Fs. Huh.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So Jonathan, what do you like to play against the Petrov?
I play knight c3.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
then
If
I
he
take with the
takes,
d pawn.
we take with which pawn?
The d pawn?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things about this is that you see how the bishops can all get out and develop very nicely?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I know a little bit about this. I don't know a ton, but I've seen some games of the top players. For those of you that don't know, the Petrov is known to be very, very solid and hard to beat, just because of its and look at the nature. I mean, yes, we have double pawns and stuff, but you see how symmetrical the pawn structure is. We got a 4-4 majority, or four pawns on each side on the queen side, and then 3 pawns each on the king side. So, all right, we're gonna liven this up a little bit because we're gonna castle on opposite sides. And so, Jonathan, what do you see a pawn storm being super effective here?
Yes, I actually think so.
Yeah, but what did this queen d7 move tell us?
It told us that he's probably going to castle on the queen side.
Yeah, and look at this. This is like a game of chicken, where basically everyone's developed all their pieces except for castling, and now he's the one that has to decide: am I going to castle on the king side or am I castle on the queen side? Interesting. So he plays bishop there, check. All right, we're gonna try to keep the queens on the board, try to keep some advantage. What's white's only advantage in this position?
Black's only advantage.
Oh, white's only advantage.
Oh, white's only advantage. White's only advantage is that he has the 2 bishops.
Yeah, he has the 2 bishops. Now, what decision am I giving him here that might be a little problematic for him?
Well, he either is going to defend the pawn.
You're talking about the F pawn, right?
Yes, the F7 pawn.
Okay.
Or let his king get open by bishop c6.
Yeah. Would you take this? Do you think? I would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's not a huge advantage, but now the question is, if I castle king side here, do you see a pawn storm here being effective?
No.
I don't either. So you don't always. One of the things that I think is a good takeaway from this game is you don't always pawn storm just because you don't automatically castle on opposite sides and go for a pawn storm. Here, the pawn storm doesn't work. I mean, yes, this guy's a little bit weak. And real quick, Jonathan, last move. Why didn't I take this?
Why didn't you take what?
Why didn't I take on a7?
Oh, because c5 would trap your bishop.
Exactly. So, and I still can't take it for that same reason. So we'll set up a little bit of a trick here. We'll play queen d3. And what do you think I'm going for there?
Going for queen a6. I think that's mate, actually. Not now, but it would have been.
Well, no, he could go to d7, though.
Oh, right. Yeah, I missed that.
All right, so he's stopping that thing. But one of the things that we're doing is we're provoking some weaknesses here. We're making his king cam up. If it had been me in this position, I would have bit the bullet here and probably played king b7. I think that c5, remember, pawns can't go backwards, right? So this is now a target. That's a target. That's potentially a target. So I'm going to do here is I'm going to move a new piece in the game. We're going to be a cow, and we're going to follow the rules. So now we have all of our pieces in the game. The only thing I'm a little not thrilled about is my king still being here. I kind of like to be king here, so there's no checks on the diagonal, but I think that's kind of a minor issue. Now black is the one that it says it made him feel good to play a move like c5, but now what? That's the hard part. I don't see a way to get a huge advantage here, but ooh, that's not good. Why is that bad?
It voluntarily goes onto the file of the rook.
And so what should I play here?
I think bishop c5 wins.
Let's take bishop takes c5. And note real quick, if you thought that we made a mistake because black has queen h6 check and then take this, why is that not a concern, Jonathan?
If he... Oh, what? It's not a concern because we have bishop e3.
Right. What about queen e3? Is that good?
No, because he has bishop c5.
Right, it's still pinned, so we can still preserve the bishop. And I did see that before I went into it, so that's important for you to note. All right, so now our opponent is trying to trade off some stuff, but what trick did he just fall for?
He fell for queen f5.
Yeah, queen f5, and that's one of the problems when your king is when your king is stuck in the center like that. And you're subject to checks. You can fall for tricks like this. It's just one of those things. So, all right. So now we're going to take this guy, and so now the queen has to go somewhere. Let's give him a little. Give him another tickle again. I'm trying to get this queen off of this square so I can play this move. Oh, and then he fell for that. So rook takes. So now we're on this guy. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So he has two defenses. Yeah, that's one of them. Okay, but why is that also loose, Jonathan? What's the continuation that's very strong here?
So you could do rook d7, rook d7, rook e8 check. Then he's forced to go king b7, and then win the rook.
Good. Yes, and all of those are example of forcing moves, right?
Yeah.
And also, real quick, Jonathan didn't say it, but he also would have looked at this more carefully. He wouldn't have done this if he saw that queen f1, if that was going to lead to some sort of perpetual check or something. But my queen can always come back, so it stops any kind of those potential tricks. So don't.
Yep.
You have to keep analyzing all the way. Isn't there some famous coach who always uses the word extend?
Maybe.
Who is that? I forget. What's his name?
I think it starts with a J.
It starts with a J. That would be Grandmaster Julio Sedora, who has worked with a lot of people at my camp and works with Jonathan. And he always says that, and he even says it to me because Julio is my coach, or one of my coaches. And he always says, extend your analysis, and then when someone loses, he always says, he did not extend the analysis, and that's what happens. So, all right, so this is a good game. Tasty Fig, thank you for joining our group for the first time. Hope to see you in future matches. Okay, who's AZ Michelle? Maybe we could play her.
Oh, yeah.
That could be possible.
I don't think I've seen them in the
That's
clubmates tab.
That's possible, huh? I think there's also we got a lot of people in the queue today, don't we?
Yeah.
Bold stylish cake, buddy. Wake up. Okay. Well, we'll have a different kind of cake, maybe. Dear Happy record. Dear Happy. Dear Happy. There you go. All right. Oh my gosh. They love us today with white, don't they? Have we gotten white like every game?
I think so.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so this e6 move, this is not called anything yet in this opens the sign because it depends what black does next. All right, so Jonathan, what's this called?
I can't see it. So my screen went black.
Okay.
Hold on. Google Chrome is not working. That's great.
All right. Well, this is called the Con Sicilian, and we're gonna play it. We're gonna play it not with a Maroczy bind type. We're gonna play it kind of. The Con Sicilian is defined as a6 e6 like this, except the knight goes to d7 in the con. So I'm playing. Jonathan, let me know when you're back. But I'm playing this opening here. This king goes to h1, which is good because it gets off of the diagonal. And usually they want to play knight to d7 here. I think this might be a mistake because of e5 here. But we'll check this out.
Yeah, okay, I'm back now.
Oh no.
So,
Uh-oh. You fell for a
you don't
trick.
think, yeah.
Yeah, and you played it so fast, dear Happy. And does everyone see why the king on h1 was so important? It's not check. So I envision that's part of chess. When you play it like that, you gotta know some of those little tricks that exist in the position. So yeah, Happy. I'm sorry you're not happy here, but and yeah, and unfortunately, you fell for a couple of tricks here, and you got in a little bit of trouble. So be careful when you grab a piece like that, especially when you're playing someone who is stronger than you are. You don't want to. It's unlikely that they're just going to drop something for nothing. So yeah. And this is one of the downsides. Honestly, one of the reasons I always had trouble teaching the Sicilian to some of my students is because it involved a lot of theory, and you have to be really careful, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can get slaughtered, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Black got in a lot of trouble here because of that. All right, Jonathan, you see a crusher here? I do. I think 98's good here.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, sorry about that, dear Happy record. Be careful next time when you're playing this. The move order really does matter on those. Okay, let's go. Icky, Wink, and Closet. I don't think I've played Icky. Have you played Icky before?
I have not.
Okay. Come on, Icky. I don't even know what Icky Winking Closet is. Do you know what that is?
I have never heard that in my entire life.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and play E5. Kind of keeping. We're gonna have an E5 day, and we're gonna have literally we had E5 and the Open Sicilian day, and we're gonna get a Roy Lopez.
Oh my.
We're gonna get an exchange variation. Oh, Jonathan.
With Queen D4.
Queen D4, and you mentioned this earlier, and this is actually good. It's a good learning experience. Again, it's fine for white. He's not losing or anything like that. But here, basically, what's Black's advantage here, do you think?
Well, Black's advantage is that white doesn't have castling privileges.
And
It's hard. White's, I think... I think Black's going to get developed really fast.
Yeah, and Black has the two bishops, right?
Yeah.
And do you notice how quickly, this has been several times today where we've gotten a queenside castle. All right,
Yeah.
so we're going to give him that. We're going to give him the weak pawns. And so, Jonathan, what do you? Double pawns are obviously weak because, they can't defend each other and stuff. But when you see the double pawns, you see that they're weak. But what else do we know about double pawns in a position like this? What squares are weak?
I think the square in front of it, like F4, is weak.
Very good. And so that's what we call an outpost. And so what piece would we love to put there?
A knight would be great.
A knight would be terrific. Exactly. Now, notice I played knight e7. I could have played knight f6 to go to here, but what extra benefit am I looking for? Where do you think this knight's going?
Maybe it's going to go to g6 and then h4.
Aha! So we can do double duty here. And now white has to be very careful because on knight h4, the king can't come up and defend this pawn. So now we can just come up and win a pawn. Knight f4 would have been okay, but this is much better because it wins a pawn, obviously, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we won that pawn on f3, and we're threatening the rook, of course, but we're also threatening to take the h-pawn. That's a second one. Now, would you consider that to be a greedy pawn to take, Jonathan?
I don't see anything wrong with taking.
Yeah, I don't either. Sometimes we don't like to go pawn grabbing, go on these little missions where the goal is simply to win a pawn. But here, I don't see any downside to winning the pawn.
Right.
Okay, so now we're going to follow the rules, right? We're going to bring our new piece. Again, do you see how every game that you have, every one of our pieces is doing something? Don't forget to follow the rules. Always follow the rules.
Yeah, I think that's like for a lot of people, like in the like kind of amateur state, they don't follow the rules like at all, and they get into big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
In the opening.
Yeah, it's very true. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and try it off. I'm going to try to. Oh, okay. All right, Jonathan. What little devilish trick am I setting up?
Rook h6 and rook g6.
Yeah. Now, of course, there's that stupid bishop there, so we got to get rid of that guy. But let's. We're going to come up, and he kind of stopped our plan. Nice, good option or good idea of trying to bring the rook in the game. I don't see a way to checkmate him per se, so I think we're just going to be a cow. We're going to trade off material, and we're going to be up the exchange. And let's trade off some more. So again, when you're up material, of course, you just want to trade and stuff, and that's just basically what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're just trying to capitalize and put the finishing touches on. Okay. So let's advance this guy. Now we could take here, but there's absolutely no reason to take that at all. And now they have a hard time moving. So now that we've got our rook firmly entrenched right here, now what the most important thing to do, don't leave your king here. Bring your king in the game. Get it active. The king is, what do they call the king in chess, Jonathan? A what?
They call the king in chess.
Yeah, they call the king in the endgame. They call it a fighting piece.
Oh, right, yeah. In the endgame, yeah. In the, every other time it's a piece you have to keep safe.
Right. Now, what do you think my idea here is now that he's made this weakness? Why did I go here?
To limit him, and now he's going to lose a piece.
Yeah, actually he has king. Yeah, I guess it does. So yeah, this is a good game from Icky. He came up with a couple of good defensive ideas. I did like seeing that. All right, so now that all the pawns have been stymied and there's no way that they can get any kind of pass pawn, now we're just going to go for it. And now we're going to go rook here because it's defended by the pawn, and then we're going to go ahead and get queened and then just do the rook queen checkmate. So yeah, it's a matter of technique. And Jonathan, if he plays king e4, what's the mate?
Queen f3.
Yep, got him. Okay, good game. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's play Old Flashy Cactus. I don't remember that one either.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of that before.
One more time. For some reason, it doesn't like me matching Old Flashy Cactus. Okay, let's try it again. It's a little buggy today, isn't it? Okay, sorry, old flashy cactus, it won't let us match you, so we'll do Evan the Great. I don't know who that is. I think Evan the Great is new. Do I have something wrong with my... let's try this again. No, I don't want this. I want to say... Alright, I'm going to refresh my screen because it doesn't seem to like it. Alright, we're going to come back. We're going to play... We'll try to get a couple of games in. Oh my goodness, why is the computer doing this? Okay, fast home. Okay, here we go. Alright, we'll try Old Flashy Cactus one more time, except Old Flashy is playing a game. Okay. So we'll go back. Let's try this. Okay, Evan the Great. He's playing too, huh? Okay. Let's do we play Dear Happy Record yet?
Yeah.
Okay, Bold Stylish Cake we didn't play. Okay, Bold Stylish Cake. And we'll try to fit one more game in after this because we had a lot of these games went much longer than usual, Jonathan.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. But we really appreciate everybody for tuning in and playing chess over the summer. It's really good to keep your chess skills sharp and stuff, and make sure you're locked into chess over the summer and try to play as many. We're going to try to do this Beat the Coach. We're going to try to continue doing Beat the Coach every week. And we've gotten really good turnouts from people. This turnout's higher than it has been the last couple weeks, I think. So, Jonathan, we got one of your favorite old lines you used to play, the fried liver. And so, Jonathan, what's the best move here for black?
Knight a5.
Yeah, knight a5 is the book move here. Knight d4 and knight d4 is kind of a trappy line that I kind of like to recommend to students because a lot of people fall for it right away and they didn't even realize what hit them. So now black's probably, if black is taking this much time, they probably don't know the line. So Jonathan, why don't you fill in the viewers for if knight takes d5, what do you think white would do?
There's a line that goes knight f7, king f7, queen f3 check, and then I think black's best move there is king e6.
Right.
And
that's a piece sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how does it continue after that?
Then I think there's a couple of lines. I think you can play knight c3 or like d4, I think is one of them.
Well, knight c3 first because we got to tie down that knight. All right, Jonathan, here's a good question for you. Do you take the rook or do you take the knight? Which one?
Maybe the knight?
Yeah, I think you take the knight only because if the rook moves to g8, what can we play anyway?
Well, now okay.
Knight d6 check wins that rook. The problem is, here, do you see how I can't take this rook? Because he's setting up a little bit of a checkmate. So
yeah.
We can play, actually, what's a really good move here, Jonathan, actually, for white? No, actually. Any idea? We can't take the rook, right? So
Yeah.
We could castle, but I actually want to take the rook, but I want to stop him from something first. Is there anything we can do to stop it? Is it worth throwing in d4 first?
Yeah.
I would. I'm going to play d4 only to try to open things up a little bit to give my bishop some scope here. If he wants to stay alive, he's got to take with the bishop. Otherwise, if he takes,
you're going to take the rook.
Right, he'll take exactly. I'll take the rook. So now he actually has to come up with the right move. Bishop takes d4. But then I think we would castle, and that guards this guy, and then we have the ability to play bishop g5 stuff if we need to. Just getting more pieces in the game, going for the attack. Although bishop g5 hangs this guy, so we got to be a little careful. Hindsight, probably we should have castled, but all right. So we're going to castle here. Yeah, this is actually kind of annoying because now if okay, well that helps our situation. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and win the rook next. If he takes back, we'll take the rook. If he plays rook f8, what would you play?
Play c3.
Yeah. Well, I don't like my bishop hanging though. I probably would have moved my bishop back, but this made it easier choice. So now, if he castles queenside, Jonathan, what trick is he setting up?
He's going to play bishop f2, winning the queen.
Right, exactly. So we have to be careful of that. Always got to watch tricks. Got to look for forcing moves and all that kind of stuff. So if he castles queenside, I think probably just the best move is queen e2. And Jonathan, it's kind of funny. He actually has not moved his king yet, so he could castle. I was thinking, I was like, wait, can he castle? I'm like, yeah, he still can castle. He hasn't. He was only lost the king side rook, but the queen side rook hasn't moved yet, and the king hasn't moved yet.
Right.
I was thinking he had already moved because we were analyzing that long variation, but all right. So queen e2. And if he takes our knight, I'm going to go ahead and play c3 and try to get the bishop out and try to trade off some material there. Good move. Thank you, Bold Stylish Cake. We didn't want to fall for your trap. Did you see he sent us a message, Jonathan?
What did he say?
He said, good move. And I was like, I'll say, oh my God, what did I just do? No, I don't want to log out. Okay, so we're going to play c3. So, Jonathan, how are those ESTs going?
Oh, what?
EST. Hasn't Julio used that with you?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
EST. EST! He usually yells it, too.
He does.
I don't know why I just didn't take the pawn there, but... Alright, so we're just completing our development here. And Bold Stylish Cake is getting a little low on time. Okay, we got time for one more game. Let's see who the lucky person is. It looks like we didn't play Old Flashy Cactus, did we? Oh, he's not ready. He's actually analyzing a game. So, and Yihan Basis is doing the same thing. Frozen Earthquake. I think we played everybody, didn't we? Well, let's try to get one more game in, Jonathan.
Okay.
Who would you like to play that's on the list?
Who's Evan the Great?
I know. I wanted to play him, but he's playing.
Oh. It doesn't show that he's playing on my screen.
Oh, it does for me. Yeah, there's the little glasses, and I clicked on him. He's playing. And we played Happy already.
Yeah, I think we played everyone on the list.
Yeah, a bunch of people have the glasses, so it means they're playing. Ashton Ironwood is playing. Okay. He's playing Yehan Bassist. They must know each other. We had a really good turnout today, though. We're going to go ahead and play one person. All right, Frozen Earthquake. You're the lucky guy that gets 2 games today. If you choose to accept the challenge. No. Frozen Earthquake, one more time, buddy. 3rd time. No. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and play. Could play AZ Michelle, actually.
Why don't we do Dear Happy Record? Because they were the one that lost the queen quickly.
Oh, I already clicked on Frozen Earthquake. Okay, so we're gonna continue the theme of today's thing. We're gonna play E4, E5 a lot. Jonathan, we're gonna get we didn't get a Roy Lopez. So what's this line called?
This is the Scotch, right?
All right, yep, it is Scotch opening. And so the question is, if he plays Bishop C4, it's called the Scotch Gambit. But if he takes on D4 like this, is called the Scotch opening. And we're gonna play this we're gonna play this line here. That's kind of a annoying line to play against. White's best move, believe it or not, is Knight B5, just losing this pawn. But it's hard to play this for White, because now we're threatening to take this guy, and unfortunately he dropped a piece here, which is easy to happen when you get a lot of pressure on you. So the real line in this position is Knight to B5, and even though we lose this pawn here, this pawn right here is hard to defend for Black.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we're going to take here. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and we'll take this guy. All right, cool. And so, unfortunately, that losing a piece again. It's the common theme. We've seen a lot of people drop down material really fast against us, and it's gotten them in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, this has been a good session today, and this will be the last game we're going to play today. I know we went over just a little bit. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And Jonathan, I want to thank you again. You had some really, really insightful comments today on some plans and some tactics. You know, that dragon game was probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it just shows, Jonathan. If you were going to summarize what you think people could take away, like what are some of the lessons that people learned from today's Beat the Coach? What would you say are the some of the top things we learned today?
Okay, I think the most important thing is to follow the rules, especially in the opening, because the opening is where you either get a good advantage or you get a disadvantage, and following the rules will almost always help you get an advantage. When you're under an attack or you're down material, don't give up. Like the Ashton Ironwood game, he never gave up. He played Knight D4, which was a really good positional move that stopped us from, taking over the game, even though he was down material. I think that was really good.
Mm-hmm. Good. I like that comment a lot. And what other kind of things did we learn today? What kind of mistakes did people make that we could correct them, that they could learn from?
I think, like the game with Dear Happy Record, he played way too fast in the opening, and he was kind of, reckless, and he played Queen D4 way too fast. So even though it's an opening, you still have to take your time to make sure you're not making any mistakes or anything.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good point. So yeah, I think that's what I'd like to see a little bit more from people is to take your time a little bit more in the opening, because when you're playing someone who is stronger than you, like you are in these beat the coach things, is they see a lot of things um, that you don't see, and sometimes you have to take a little bit more time to process what they're planning, because when what part of being a good chess player is having a lot of experience, and that's something that Jonathan and I have a lot of experience with, and hopefully you guys are taking some of that advice on, because I think it's a really good good advice. So John, I want to thank you once again for doing this, and for your really great, insightful comments. And I want to thank the Southern Arizona Chess Association for putting this on. And there's, just to remind everybody, there's Blitz events on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. There's Blitz matches on ChessKid. And there's the Beat the Coach, of course, that we're doing this week, that we do every Friday, rather. And then for people who are older, there's also some, and for kids as well, if you have a chess.com account, there's a weekly Blitz tournament that is played Thursday nights at 6:30 Arizona time. So, and we welcome people to join. You don't have to be from Arizona to play in it. We have people from all over the country that are signing in and stuff. So we want to thank everybody for that. And Jonathan, any final words today?
No, I think you hit every point.
Okay, well, thank you, and I really do appreciate that summary you gave at the end, because I think it's important for people to try to learn what you can. I know these are Blitz games, but it does show your habits and what you can do to improve those. So I want to thank everybody for joining us, and that is it for today. Thank you. Hey, Jonathan.
Yeah?
Yeah?